Section blank, designation of the Muslim Brotherhood as a foreign terrorist organization. The Secretary of State shall designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a foreign terrorist organization in accordance with Section 219.
We will consider the amendment as having been read, and the gentleman is recognized to explain his amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Folks, the Muslim Brotherhood has been involved in a lot of issues that are on the forefront today, but they have a long, long history. The Muslim Brotherhood is a Sunni religious and political organization founded in Egypt in 1928. It has branches throughout the world. It has been engaged in terrorist activity as defined in Chapter 8 of the INA and retains the capability and intent to engage in terrorist activity or terrorism as defined in the Foreign Relations Act of fiscal year 88 and 89. A little bit of history. After a coup attempt in 1954, the Muslim Brotherhood was banned in Egypt and elsewhere in the Middle East for its involvement in violent terrorist acts. Despite government crackdowns throughout the 1960s and 70s, the Muslim Brotherhood and offshoot organizations were involved with the assassination of Egyptian President Anwar Sadat. The 88 Hamas Covenant states that the Islamic Resistance Movement, or Hamas, is one of the wings of Muslim Brotherhood in Palestine. Muslim Brotherhood founder Hassan al-Banna quoted in the 1988 Hamas Covenant states that Israel will exist and will continue to exist until Islam will obliterate it, just as it obliterated others before it. In January 7th of this year, CNN released a story on a 9-page summary of a secret report that stated that the Muslim Brotherhood, an Islamist political group present in many Muslim countries, was trying through its affiliated charities and organizations, often with the funding of unwitting private Saudi citizens, to spread its influence by providing support for candidates in Islamic democracies. That story goes on to say that, according to the report, payback was simple. Once in power, these candidates are expected to further the Brotherhood's goals. CNN further elaborates that al-Qaeda was able to benefit from these secret funding mechanisms because their source stated that some in the Muslim Brotherhood had historic sympathies and connections with members of the terror group dating back to when Saudi Arabia and the CIA covertly funded the Afghan Mujahideen to fight the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan. The bottom line here is that CNN reported that the connections meant that money in Muslim Brotherhood hands was occasionally given to al-Qaeda. The Muslim Brotherhood's activity threatens the security of the United States' national security. The Muslim Brotherhood's creed is jihad is our way and martyrdom is the way of Allah as our highest aspiration. The ideological goals of the Muslim Brotherhood, based on its doctrine, its leading intellectual figures, and its leadership, is identical to that of al-Qaeda, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, and other Islamist groups designated as terrorist entities. As Chief Counterterrorism Advisor Richard Clark told a Senate committee back in 2003, all of these organizations are descendants of the membership and ideology of the Muslim Brothers. In federal court, evidence was produced in 2008 Holy Land trial that exposed the Muslim Brotherhood's operations in the United States. The Muslim Brotherhood's goals for America were explained in the document entered into evidence in the trial. The explanatory memorandum on the general strategic goal for the group said this: the 1991 Muslim Brotherhood explained that the settlement process to establish itself in the United States and once rooted to undertake a grand jihad in eliminating and destroying Western civilization from within and sabotaging its miserable house by their hands and the hands of the believers so that it is eliminated. Just to conclude, Madam Chairwoman, that the Muslim Brotherhood is a threat to American national security, and this Congress and our administration needs to recognize this threat and take action to protect America. I yield back.
The gentleman.